Alright, hey guys, it's Jay, aka That's So Jay, and I'm coming at you guys with another video about my career as a speech language pathologist assistant. So this video is actually in a collaboration with another YouTuber named Shayla, and I'm going to put her video down in the description box. This video is to discuss a little bit of the pros and cons working in my field. I've been getting asked a lot of questions from my Instagram and just from like Facebook and just everything about my field. I've been posting a lot more about it recently, and so I just thought I'd share a little bit about it, some things that you might want to consider. So this is for people that are graduating college or high schoolers or anyone that's just interested in exactly what, you know, things working as a speech language pathologist, or like I said myself, as speech language pathologist assistant that is working on the bachelor level of this field. All right guys, let's get into it. So here are some cons of working as an SLPA. Now this con is if you are working in home health. So home health means that you are going to the child's house or whoever age group you're working with. You are literally driving to their house and doing therapy with them in their living room. So you're bringing your stuff, whether you're bringing toys or flashcards or whatever materials you need, and you're sitting on the floor just, you know, working with them to get their R sounds, T sounds, whatever their goals are. So I like this kind of, you know, therapy. It's in the home. You're kind of like just on your own a little bit. But so things you might want to worry about is, first of all, driving, because they may give you a client that's not that close to your house, so you're using your own car. Some companies will reimburse you with mileage and things like that, but that's not every company, so that's kind of like. And the worst thing is cancellation. So you might drive to this person's house or drive to that area or be on the way, and you might get a last minute like, oh hey, Billy was sick today, or we're not having session or therapy today. Like, so those are sometimes kind of bad things, and you don't get paid when you don't see your clients. So that's kind of also like a con, I guess, definitely. So another thing that I also I feel like it's hard working in this field is you may work so hard with the child, and this is kind of like a school or home thing, whichever field you're working in. You may work so hard with this child, and your family, the parents are not reiterating what you're teaching in therapy at home. So if you're trying to get this kid to say 3-word phrases instead of just kind of what I say, spoiling him, not making him talk, not making him use his words. If you want him to say, I want, and you're just giving him things because he's screaming and crying, he's never gonna learn. Like, I could sit here and do therapy with him for hours and hours and teach him something, and he's doing so good, but as soon as he gets home and his parents are just not working on after what you've been paying me to teach him to do, you can't expect it to cross over into the homes if you're not also following up what I'm telling you to do. So that kind of gets on my nerves at times too as a therapist. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys the average pay from the US. This is from US News and World Report. So this is the average pay. And like I said, the pay for speech pathology is pretty good, but it also depends on where you live. I've kind of done my own research and noticed that, and this is also from my experience, like, because I've worked on the West Coast and I've worked in the Northeast. And also where you live, that determines like your salary for that area, if you're working in a school, if you're working in a private practice. So those are all things to consider. 2016, the median salary for a speech language pathologist is $74,680, and the best paid speech language pathologist earned more than $116,810 in 2016, while the lowest paid earned less than $47,000. So, like I said, those numbers can very much vary. There are many factors. That doesn't also factor in how many years that person worked, where they lived. So that's just kind of like a US national salary. The national average salary for a speech language pathologist assistant is $57,530 in the United States. Like I said, that very much varies, because I've known some SLPAs that don't make that much, and I've known some that make a lot. So that also can depend like who you're working under. If you're working under someone's private company and they're paying you through insurance, they have more flexibility to pay you more, as opposed, like I said, if you're working in a school system, I wouldn't expect to make that much. So that just depends. Another thing that I wanted to say as another pro and con, and this is kind of also what separates from working in a school and from working in like a private practice or in the home. So typically when you're doing private practice or in the homes, you usually work in either one-on-one because you're just with that child in his house, or at private practice you're just seeing that child as their parent brings them. You may see more than one kid at a time, but that's pretty rare. In a school, I mostly see groups, so I could have a group of 5-6 kids and I'm doing therapy with all of them. They can all be working on something different, but it's my job to create an activity that's going to target every single person's skills. So sometimes that could be a little challenging, and you only have, you know, that day or that time to see that kid because that kid may be going to a bunch of other stuff throughout their school day. So I like kind of working with 2 or less, like 1 to 2 kids at a time is better for me because I feel like you can get more done. It's not as challenging. So I could say that's definitely a con when working in the school system, is how many kids you see in one group. Also, so this is awesome. When you work in a school, so a school speech language pathologist assistant is servicing kids in speech and language that is affecting them in the classroom. So your caseload is the entire school. So you have hundreds of kids, and a small chunk of them might really have speech and language services. So on average, at about every school that I go to, I have a caseload of at least about 50 kids. The girl that I'm doing this video with, she works in private practice, and she actually works in a private practice office with one of my old professors. And her thing is that she only has about 15 kids that she sees during the week. So you definitely have a lot smaller of a caseload, especially like I said, if you're doing in the homes or doing private practice. You're not typically gonna see 50 kids in a week as opposed to someone that works at a school. Also, speech pathology, you have a lot of paperwork. So as a speech language pathologist assistant, you are responsible for just keeping data, keeping progress notes of everything that's going on as you're running therapy. You also have to do a progress summary at the end of the school year and midway through the school year to let them know. A speech language pathologist, she should be the one writing the actual IEP, which is a lot of paperwork to fill out. So definitely think, don't think you're done writing stuff, because there's a lot of writing involved. So I think I covered everything. I love the field. Definitely a pro in this field would definitely be just, you know, just seeing the difference in children, knowing that, you know, you had a child that wasn't speaking at all or literally had 1 or 2 words, and now they have this huge lexicon of language, and they're going home and they're naming things with their parents, and the parents are actually understanding what the child is saying now. So it's definitely a very rewarding field. You get really close with the kids that you work with. I literally feel like I'm like a big sister to a lot of my students. Like, I love it. It's just a very happy field. I love being creative. One of the things I love about speech is that there isn't like a speech pathology curriculum. So you really can make up whatever you want to do. If you want to make flashcards, if you want to make a project, like my students literally said they wanted to play with slime. So I'm like, okay, now I gotta think about how I'm gonna incorporate slime in therapy. So it's just a lot of fun. You just have the freedom to make up as much stuff. There's so many resources out there, like I said in my last video on activities. So it's really a fun field to just be creative on how you're gonna teach what that child's goals are and how you're gonna help them accomplish their goal. You have that freedom to create the lesson plan of your choice. Another pro about this field is you can literally work anywhere. The thing that I love about speech pathology is that you can work as a speech pathologist, and this is for a master's level. To work as a speech pathologist, you can work in hospitals, nursing homes, clinics, schools. I actually had a college professor that worked in a prison. So you can work at daycares. You can literally work anywhere. Some people will personally hire a speech pathologist if they are auditioning for something and they feel like they have a stutter or a slur and they want to work with that. They might hire a speech pathologist to work with them if they want to get rid of the accent because they know they're going to be speaking and they want a speech pathologist to work with them on that. So it's definitely a career where there's just an endless amount of opportunities. So I love that. An SLPA doesn't quite have that much flexibility because, like I said, you're not fully licensed to work in hospitals and work, you know, basically on your own because you're still under supervision. So that also kind of personally motivates me to want to get my master's in this field. So guys, that concludes this video. If you have any more questions about this career, about like schooling, about any more things that I feel like are pros or cons or things that you should look forward to or just kind of look out for when entering in this field, definitely email me, message me, and I would love to respond, and I would love to make more videos talking about just the amazing career of speech pathology.
Is she for keeps? Somebody tell me, is she? Somebody tell. Is she for keeps? Oh, is she for keeps? Somebody tell. Is she for keeps? Somebody tell.